Hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome
Hello.
to the Capt Future Christmas calendar. Today with Bert-Ola in Gothenburg. So we have been to an amazing day here in Gothenburg and first time we meet each other, so we came home from Pakistan, so we had a lot to talk about, and we are meeting some awesome people here at the Inclusive Business Forum, and now we decided to talk about what it is to be a system entrepreneur. So I know you, Bert-Ola, you call yourself a system entrepreneur. I don't do it literally. Until today, I actually updated my Facebook edit profile to say Captain Future, Weaver, system entrepreneur, and navigator of a complex future.
Yeah, you need to take everything into consideration here.
Yeah.
But I think system entrepreneurship is it's something that is evolving. You can say Weaver, navigator. I think it involves a lot of these different competences of how you organize complexity.
Yeah, and then connection and network society as well included in that, especially now that we have been living with a global social media platform like Facebook for when it went global 2007, so we've been living for 12 years with a global. Before that we had social media, but not a global platform like Facebook. So
it's possible now to organize much more people in a far distance way in ways that was not possible before, basically. So I think system entrepreneurship is sort of a term of how you can weave different sectors and organizations together in some direction forward. And of course, to find out what that is takes some time. It's part of what the system entrepreneur do to find out this. And what do you think about today?
Today it was a great day. Talked about like SDGs and foremost like what they call social innovation and social entrepreneurship. But that included like this much of the social part, but they went into every field, of course, all the SDGs. And to be clear then, what is SDGs and sustainability? SDGs is the UN's 17 sustainability goals, and that includes 3 types of sustainability: economic sustainability, social sustainability, and ecological sustainability. So that's the structures and the resources is the economic sustainability. Social and sustainability is people and the society and the human skills and stuff we have. And ecological sustainability is the relationship we have with everything around us, from the food we grow to the living bacteria inside our body, to the larger ecosystems and habitats all over the world and Earth that we are dependent on and codependent on to be a living organism. Yeah.
I'm looking into my mobile now, so you need to do things in parallel here. But like in this way now, I think also a critical thing with system entrepreneurship and the potential that most organizations and people that I connect with and have done for many years, when they speak about being digital, that means that they have social media pages and they know some digital tools and maybe like that, but they are not really digital in their mind. And like you said today, being in take it seriously, the digital space.
Everyone talks about being present in the moment, but they usually refer to the physical world. But when you see someone on a mobile navigating the digital world, they say they're not present. But we said that's an equal important part of being present in the digital world. It's another mindset and another skill, but it is the same foundation in social skills. How do you connect with people in physical and online? And that's both is about being present.
Otherwise you can't because obviously if you work in a physical world you are close to people in the room, but in a digital world maybe you connect with people on the other side of the planet that you probably never will meet. Maybe you will meet them
once in a while in an event, global event or something like that, but not some people you have never met and some people you have met once or twice.
So that's part of the competence, and like many people say, the most the smartest people are outside the room.
Yeah.
So if we speak about democratization of getting more people, inclusive business like today's event, you can't organize events or we lose a big potential. That's the key.
Yeah.
We have 7.5 billion brains that we need to tap into the flow. So we get the opportunity.
Not everyone, but the opportunity to tap into
Yeah, but
them.
it should be. So we should increase the opportunity spaces. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So get things out from closed, siloed organizations and events, and to build spaces where you can get input from outside.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I say as a playground.
Yeah.
So playground, it's not only a physical space where you have a hashtag and share out information in a black hole. It's that you need to be present and really hear what people to listen in, as we use as a framework or as a word, and to learn this digital space and to be comfortable. And that takes time to. It's both the dimension of learning how to connect.
Yeah.
That's one thing, but it's only one thing. To be super connector is good to connect, but when you have connected, you need also to know how do you facilitate this dialogue and the information, and what tools do you use, and different culture, different places. And then when you start to facilitate, you also need to know where do you want to go with the crowd or with your organization or who you are as a person after. So you need the skill of connecting, you need the skill of facilitating, and you need the skill of navigating the future.
Yeah.
And all
so 3
these
skills:
together.
connecting, navigating,
Facilitating
and navigating.
Yeah. So there are at least 3 dimensions that you need to work on to be a good system entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And and go between these spaces of physical space to digital space, and feel comfortable to harvest the information and know with precision where to share it and like that. And it's a bit of the system entrepreneur's role to do it, to build this.
Yeah.
And we don't really have in the new innovation ecosystem, we speak about open innovation, all this concept, but if you really look at them, it's I wouldn't say that it's still very early, even for the advanced open innovation ecosystems.
Because all the people we come across in this space, they all have different competences, different backgrounds, and different worldviews on what a system entrepreneur is in itself. So there's no set point for this even yet, because it's a new emerging field, and in that we have to explore that much further. So when we will see the first academies for system entrepreneurship, not in the old world sense, but in the live action learning society sense?
It will come already next year. So we are planning now to system entrepreneurship as a term. It's already out there. Klaus Schwab have mentioned it from 2017. So we don't speak about social entrepreneurship here, it's system entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Social entrepreneurship, of course, it's related, but social entrepreneurship is, in my view, often focused on specific problems where you have a business model where you solve it, whatever. System entrepreneur doesn't necessarily need to be in a business.
No.
It can be in politics or academy, but the common thing that many of the system entrepreneurs are good in is that they are these good facilitators of many type of actors, the state with the academy, and they get a sort of direction. And that has been for a long time. We have a lot of skilled people doing this in society, but quite few or very few if you take the digital space into consideration. So many of the good facilitators today, they are good in the physical space of cooperation, but not in the digital space. And definitely not in both spaces.
Yeah, and the world in between those.
Exactly.
To walk between. And let's say with my definition of entrepreneurship in this case is like a person who solves problems and creates value. So the traditional, or like the current role of entrepreneur is someone like who makes a profit, but you don't necessarily has to be that type of entrepreneur when you call yourself a system entrepreneur. But you have to solve a problem and create value for society, for or for the earth or something like that. So there has to be a stakeholder that can be some of a social, economic, or ecological stakeholder that you create value for and solve a problem in that case.
So we just to give you an example. So I'm also using. We have a party.
Yeah.
If you have
watch party.
We have a watch party in Learning Society group in parallel. So I need to look a bit in that. And it's a lag in 2-3 seconds to watch party from a normal space.
So having to explore watch party, it's a parallel way of watching either a live video or a recorded video that has its own parallel commentator and watch. The comments in the watch party is not the same that we see in the screen here.
But the people in the watch party can be seen in the main channel.
Yeah.
So, and it's also good just to how this is part of navigating and the new tool. And the good thing with the watch part is that you will have the information there saved.
Yeah.
So if you have a good way of organizing harvest information, you can introduce the discussion. And for example, if you're in a city, you can be in 20 neighborhoods and doing parallel watch parties.
So you have your own comment thread.
So if you have a question, for example, in a city to address, you set up a design process where you initiate the dialogue from one spot. Then you can have a breakout session in watch parties, and then you can start to make insights from them, and you go out and in the process and to like build a dialogue with more people. So there are many opportunities to.
And you can also use a tool like Zoom to make the main channel invite people to join in Zoom, but then broadcast to Facebook Live as well. So like Carla does in her radio.
And I think one of the key, since there are so many tools people are working on the world around there. While we stand here, there are probably a number of new tools that are launched. And so it will never be like a perfect platform in my view, or like the platform which will connect everything. So it's an important skill for a system entrepreneur to know that the tool that would be my suggestion is just for the moment. So you need to learn and
reevaluate your tools constantly.
Exactly, and check what tools do you need to take away from the toolbox and what new tools do you need to take in. So the skill of changing tools in the toolbox is also super important to be a good system entrepreneur. So what more from today?
What more from today? We talked to some people like there were some people from Africa there, and we talked about what's going on there. And what you have been to Africa? I haven't been, but we've been to Pakistan. And what would you say is a person like who want to connect the global world in that essence in a developing zone like Africa or Pakistan? What is the extra skills you need as a system entrepreneur in a zone like that?
Well, first of all, there are different. I think it was quite big difference between. I went to Ghana last year and to Kenya. Spent a bit of time in both those places, and then to Pakistan is quite big difference.
Between all three of them,
Kenya and Ghana felt a bit more closely related, and Pakistan was definitely another world. More. I would, from a Swedish perspective, that was my sense. It felt closer to Africa than to Pakistan, because it seemed to me, maybe I'm wrong, but and you spent time at least in Pakistan, but we speak about the Nordic model, the Swedish model. We know something. Pakistan, it was not really like. Okay, you are from abroad. You're not from here. You're not from here. So, but they were very curious.
Very curious.
So I think the big potential for Pakistan is that this friendliness was amazing. It was mind-blowing all over from you entered the country, which was some of the most fastest check-ins I have been to. Checking the passport, and it was the opposite from US, for example.
Exactly. I didn't have my e-visa printed, and I just went to the check, and he just ran away and printed it for me, like that service.
Exactly. There was the service mindset at the check-in, and it was the same when I checked my luggage when I went out.
Yeah.
So he saw maybe I was a bit nervous because you get a bit when you enter. You have a feeling that when you go into the country or when you go out, something is wrong with your luggage. Or you have always this this small creeping thing in your.
Yeah, the small creeping
but
fear.
But here was like, take it easy. You're welcome. You're our guest here.
Yeah.
So that was super cool in Pakistan, and I didn't believe that at all. I was. My stereotype
was the opposite.
Was that they will be here angry. What are you doing here? And it was completely different. Yeah. So that's and of course this curiosity, using mobile and like that. So that's something to build on because I think these two skills for the future are super important to be curious and friendly.
Yeah. So we are curious and friendly, and you want to go into like our favorite saying, open, random, supporting. How important is that mindset for a system entrepreneur?
That's key because if you go to the video Thomas Power from 2010, The Future of Social Networks.
I can link that for you later. It's open, random and supportive as opposed to closed, selective and controlling.
From a CSC to an ORS framework. Yeah. And the CSC framework, that is what we use daily in organization.
Yeah, from the 18th and 19th century and 20th century building of the industrial West world that has been close, controlling and selective.
Yeah, so you don't want things to leak out from what you have. It's competition. And now we have this overwhelming platforms with sharing. And more opportunities to share. So you have these two forces against each other, the closed world and the open world. And you can see it, for example, in power conflicts with Snowden or other people who have leaked out information, how sensitive this is. With the people from open source.
Suddenly a person who's supposed to be a hero and a whistleblower to showing something is wrong, he becomes an enemy of the state because
of the controlled.
Because he conflicts with a controlled mindset.
So it's like a power battle between this system. And we'll see what happened. But a lot of people feel they get stressed of a lot of data. And I think that it takes some years before you have passed this level. I normally say that it's like being in a river or a stream. If you try to meet every wave, you will be tired.
Or control the stream.
Control the stream. You can't say, where do I start in a stream? You need to flow with the stream and focus on some river, some fish over there or something, and follow it in that sense. Otherwise, you will feel stressed and you will check out and take the app away. So you need to be a friend with the flow.
Yes. Being present and swim with it.
So it is more of a mindset to say it's random. I will not take. It's all this world with fake news. Is this real or not? But we have millions of people out there checking news, and they will filter the information. So if you feel, that's my approach at least, if you feel that this is
hello everyone.
Hello, very interesting conversation. So if you feel that this is maybe this is weird information, it's too good to be true, it probably is, or it might be, so you can just wait and it will come up again, filtered with 100,000 people who have checked this post.
And a great example is of course Wikipedia that does this very good. Everyone fact checks everyone.
So you don't need to control everything yourself. So let's come back. So follow it and let it pass, and that's the randomness.
And the last part, supportive then.
Supportive because in the in this open sharing world, later on maybe some will help. You don't know exactly when. So if you at least try to. The minimum support you can give is a like,
or a heart, or something like,
or something. So,
or a quick comment.
Because in this open world, you need to be seen, and if you don't even give a like, you're not in the flow.
No.
You're like swimming in the darkness.
You don't support others.
Yeah,
even
I mean,
if you don't even have to like what you like. You just show it that I'm here supporting
I'm here.
what
That's
you'd
the
like.
point. It's not that I like the post.
No.
I don't like to say that I like your post. I'm saying I have noticed
I've
that
seen
you're
you.
here. I've seen you.
It's the saying from the Avatar movie.
Yeah.
I see you.
I see you. That's
If you haven't seen Avatar, that's the best. One of the best part. I see you. That comment. That means that, yeah, we all like to be seen and feel connected and feel meaning and feel part of something greater. And part of this is being seen. So.
And from next level is of course you can share and you can comment and you can do all this supportive.
Yeah.
But minimum is to at least once in a while give a like.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what happens with people want to be seen, at least people I normally speak with, or all the people who inbox me from time to time, they want, can you share this post or that happens 100 times a day. So they want to be seen. And this is a simple way. If you don't like or don't comment or something, you will be out of the flow in the Facebook algorithm. So you need to be active to be, and it takes time. That's what being present.
Yeah.
You can't have a free ride. You can't check out in the afternoon 15 minutes by sharing on your Facebook page and expect that you will be able to use this. You will need to put effort into to be really present in this field.
Yeah, like all social fields, you need to be present, and you don't have to spend all your time, and you can do it. You can put a timer on it, but or you can do it deliberately. But it's a practice and it's a skill, and like all social skills, you need to practice on it.
Yeah, and then it's more if you think you take many hours a day or how much should I invest. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 1 hour a day. Maybe it's depending on your work. Maybe it's 1 hour a week. Maybe it's 5 hours a day, depending completely on your work. If you're a digital nomad, probably you spend 6 hours a day effective time online.
Yeah.
I don't think that's strange because that's where you make a living in one way or another. So. But if you're just hanging around 10 hours a day looking at movies and being a bit unproductive, then it's maybe not meaning. So it's what do you do when you're online?
Yeah.
Is it meaningful stuff in quotation or is it and so forth? So.
Yeah, exactly. And we also want to come back to the random part. Random also means serendipity, luck, opportunity.
Yeah.
So you have to in order to get lucky, you have to be open for opportunities. That's what serendipity is all about. Be prepared for luck.
Yeah, so you can, and a way to do that in social capital theory, we speak about 3 types of networks. Yeah. So the first, the bonding social capital, is the community building, the strong relations, the family, the tribe, or whatever.
The close friends.
The close friends, and normally communities tend to navigate to be communities over time. Yeah. Because you want to be with like-minded people. Yeah.
You want to be with your tribe.
It's easier to be with people you don't need to explain. Yeah. And important to understand that in a community is that over time we will be more, more like-minded, and we will lose the new blood. Yeah. So you need to design for being the explorer in a community. And that's if you look at innovation or business or from this perspective, that's why companies die or organizations. They don't innovate it's one of the reasons. They are not innovative enough. And in the fast speed like we have today, you need at least put energy and time in checking what's going on. And Facebook and social media in general is very good to explore this, to find out the weak signals in if we speak innovation language. So, but you should be maybe it's 20% of your time. If you work 60 hours a week, you should spend 10-15 hours to check for new things randomly online.
Randomly online, and I have many friends of me who complains about their Facebook flow and everything, and I said my Facebook flow is fantastic. So 2 things then. The things you like, the posts you see friends you like, you can both start in liking them, and you can choose 2 things. You can say shows notification or see first on the people you like, the thing they post, and then your flow over time will become different if you start selecting the people you want to see first in your flow.
So I would say as a recommendation there, look at what are your favorites in your field, whatever field you're active. Look at what are the key sources for important information that you want to be updated. Most likely it's on Facebook. And if you put a favorite on that, when you close the phone and open it again, the Facebook, those posts and the favorites from the favorites will be the first in your flow. So it's a sure way when you open the phone that you have the most important information first. And then you can easily save it, the saving function. If you didn't have time, like bookmark often we spend a lot of time in scrolling where I saw an interesting post, but I don't know where in these 100 groups. But you just up in the right corner, you can click in save, and then decide if you have a few categories, and you find it in the evening on the bus when you go home or something.
And you can even or you can save, or you do like me, you can press share and you can find copy link and you post it into your notes, things that you really want to save.
Exactly.
So you have the link for the post itself.
So that is to
there are two ways to save a post.
So that is because building this intangible assets, which it is human capital, the mind and the ideas and the insights with the relations. And much of the social capital theory is that you will get the most valuable information from people and friends, and especially they who are not super connected. So by building relations over time, you will also get the insights, and you can make action quicker. So it's not a separated function that you have a supplier and the marketing channel both in once. So you can build relations. Sometime you support each other. Can I stay with you if I go to another place? Or very like at a friendly basis. Sometimes it's another support. So both functions are there in parallel. And that's a big difference from before. In the previous
when you separated business from personal life.
Exactly.
And that's the thing we like, starting to mesh together, becoming more human. And as I see some questions here, is luck or becoming aware of like-minded people and organizations? Luck is like being prepared. We all need to get lucky, but when luck strikes you, you have to be prepared to take the opportunity.
That is why when we speak about learning society, we think that at least I believe it, if you look at the world, it seems as research I think tells us that we will have more challenges ahead. And
many more challenges.
Most likely a lot, and maybe quite quickly. And then you need to organize design for whatever you do in a more receptive way. So technology is good, but in the end we will have a lot of unintended consequences.
Complex and chaos. So complex systems and chaotic systems, like Dave Snowden talks about in his Connecting framework.
And my personal view is that with AI and everything, which I think is good, I can see the potential, but there will be also powerful unintended consequences that we can't predict yet.
So that, like the American army has the VUCA term: volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So check out VUCA if you're on Wikipedia if you want to know what VUCA is.
So that is sort of what skills do we need ahead, and the system entrepreneurship is
a part of handling a complex world. That's what we say. That's my term. How do you navigate into a complex, unknown future? By being prepared.
And also weave where do we want to go? It's not just to be
No, it doesn't happen automatically. We can the future is a collective choice of all the actions on planet Earth. If you take the sum of 7 billion people doing actions every day, that creates the future in itself. And it can't be controlled because it's 7 billion different people, but it's emerging, and we can actually, if you coordinate our actions, we can actually create an outcome that is more desirable than a random outcome.
Random. So at least I think we have more opportunities. These are 3 possible directions that can happen. And if you're lucky and with a bit of good skills, maybe we want to go in that door, in that direction, and not that one. It's not just being reactive to everything. maybe we also kind of weave the resources, so as a city or organization that these are 3 possible roads, but we are prepared, so we decide we try to go in this direction.
Yeah. So what is the next step for the system entrepreneur in 2020? It's a new decade, it's a new story, it's a fresh. How do we go fresh into 2020 with a new positive opportunity for system entrepreneurs? Well, for both of us and for all other people who want to become or is a system entrepreneur.
I had a discussion with Rehan Alawala, if he's here, in Pakistan in a car when we drove in Karachi a month back. And it's like, on the one hand, is there a meaning of doing this? Isn't it happening anyway? Because all over, when you go to conference like today or a co-working space, it's like it's popping up like mushrooms. So in a sense, I think we have mobile technology, it's out there. So this will happen in my view, but it's better to be part of. It's meaningful to be part and do it, and maybe you can do it a bit more better than to be passive. That's my simple takeaway. It's better to be in part of the journey than to sit in the back seat. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I talk about. Captain Future is my title for a crew member of Spaceship Bath. That's that you have a passenger. We have the old passive passenger mentality of the future happens to me, the world happens to me, and I'm entitled to many things, and I have to become an active crew member where I take more responsibility of the world we create, my life, the people around me, and in a global sense as well. In the small part you actually can contribute, but definitely your own journey and the people around you can affect that, and that you take active responsibility to make that as good as possible. You take care of yourself, you take care of your tribe, and you take care of your local earth.
And you enjoy the ride.
You enjoy the ride, So celebration is also part of being.
That's super big. So if you forget that, that's why I don't really believe in this way of. You can incentivize things short term with money and problem solving, but in the long term you need to celebrate culture and meaning. I think it's more that focus on what works than that what doesn't work. It's mentally hard to do that. It's better to have fun. And I saw John Cleese said you learn most, they who smile most learn most. I mean we should have meaning
meaning and fun, and he also talks about what like some people call silliness and some people call playfulness. Innovation and new way of thinking happen through silliness and playfulness. That's what Einstein talked about a lot as well. So Einstein and John Cleese are two favorite philosophers on how we innovate.
For me, they knew something.
They probably knew something. That's why I act and do like I think. This is like my playful challenging societal norm by being playful.
Absolutely. So yes, I think we have it's a lot of it's easy to be negative if you look at the news and climate change and everything, but on the other hand we haven't really taken the human capacity like Indy Johar speaks about.
We're not nearly halfway there.
We are not even beginning. So we also, that's the simple idea. Why do we want 7 billion brains to be in the room? Or to start to coordinate. That's the only way to start to really build collective intelligence. And we need to take a completely new step. We can't play around in small rooms and have some idea. We need to do another level now.
Another level. And like so many people are talking about AI and machine learning and algorithms today, but like Indy says, the only way AI becomes smarter than us if we meet it halfway. So we have the potential to be with the collective world, be so much more than we are today as humans. We see it we see the weak signals about this. Some people are already doing it, but we know this is doable and coordinatable on a much larger scale thanks to social media and digital technology and AI itself. AI will help us do this, but AI will not solve things for it. But AI can help us become more us, more human.
They take care of the patterns. And,
they can recognize patterns on a much larger scale than we humans can do.
And then we can focus on the creative aspect. aspects, I think, and trying to solve the unintended consequences that will arise.
About being present to see them, to be aware of them, both in the physical world and the digital world. So being present means that you're curious and you look for weak signals, you look for patterns, you look for unintended consequences before they become too serious.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's also part of being a system entrepreneur.
To learn this. So when I see, to see and to listen is about the same. To be a good listener is also to see what's happening. It's not only to hear. It's much bigger than if you want to go into Otto Scharmer, the 4 levels of listening.
4 levels of listening, and sensing.
So it's an important skill there to be.
Some call it the skill of sense making. And that leads to what some people say wisdom seeking. That's a lifelong journey. I shared an Einstein quote about that this week. Like sense making and wisdom seeking is the skills we are just beginning to understand as humans. How far we can actually take this. You don't have to be smart to be wise. Wise is something else. But so that wise is about being a good listener, empathic person. To be curious, to want to understand, to show empathy, to show compassion.
So that's good. Yeah. Any questions?
So lots of people watching you are speaking. You can check your watch party as well. And some ask where we are. We are actually in a hotel bar here in Gothenburg. So there's a Christmas lightning and Christmas sound in the background. We thought this was appropriate for a Christmas calendar. There's of course a background sound, but we like settings where there's not a quiet studio, but a more lively setting. They create more energy into a video like this, because I don't know what you think about that, but I love this. If you as long as you can pick up what we're saying, I think this is a good energy in this environment where we are right now. We feel the Christmas setting, and we feel the end of a decade coming up, and I'm going to use my Christmas calendar to sum up of much of the learning you and I have done during this decade to actually move forward. So this calendar will continue not until Christmas, but actually to New Year's Eve. Forever, but in this format where we actually try to sum up going into this new decade.
You need a new calendar with new things every day.
So then we start a new type of content or something for the new decade. But this is like trying to sum up much of the learning we've done the last 10 years. And you yourself are doing that, and me myself are doing privately, and we just happen to do this together today. But
so it will be 2020 is in fact the 10th year of journeys. And the 14th year of doing it in a more conscious way. So it's like, but you learn all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I started my active learning by going to events in 2011. So for me, it's 9 years.
You're in the beginning.
I'm in the beginning. I have one more year before I become a 10-year.
It's a bit like to be a good system entrepreneur. It's a bit of becoming, the martial arts. First everyone can reach the black belt with some training, but then it's more philosophical. You get
then you have to go deep into mastery.
Mastering, and that you do forever. So
you're never done.
That's the good thing.
Wisdom is a lifelong learning, and that's what we call about the lifelong learning and the learning society format. So we will explore maybe learning society further. Maybe we're together tomorrow, so we can do a deep dive into what the learning society is tomorrow.
We will be at Liseberg tomorrow. It's a
so
fantastic Christmas park, very sustainable.
So maybe we can do a live from Liseberg tomorrow.
And then I will meet Nobel Prize winner on Sunday.
Nobel Prize winner on Sunday here in Gothenburg. So don't know about that, contact Bert-Ola or Peter Erga. They have the links for if you want to join that on Sunday here in Gothenburg.
And it will be a lecture on how to not get into nuclear war.
That's also important.
That's
pretty good. The peace part is a part of system entrepreneurs. How do we keep peace in society?
Because the opposite of cooperation is conflict. And the worst conflict is war. So that's the cost of not building social capital. So it's another way of valuing social capital. The alternative cost when things go really, really bad is war. But that's only it's a big cost. But it's also the developed creativity within the same resource. So it's both the cost of the human cost and the breakdown of institutions and relations, but it's also the creative potential that you miss.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's both these combined. But the simple thing is to look at the war or and you can just look in your neighborhood or whatever with the refugees or people who need to leave their home. All that cost is, not all maybe, but often it relates to breakdown of relations and institutions, social capital.
Social capital and human capital.
Yeah. So destroyment of what we have there.
Yeah. So that's something, as a system entrepreneur, you can look further into as well, like institutions and the power of that. I know Fyodor talks a lot about institutions in his evolutionary leadership teaching, Manuel Manga, Fyodor, about this. How do we make a new type of institutions that can take us into a flourishing future? Because many of our institutions are not designed to take us into the future, especially with a lot of rules and bureaucracy and laws that prevents change and innovation.
At least it needs to be more upgraded with these fast changes happening.
The open, random and supportive mindset.
We can't wait 4 years to next election.
No.
We need a much more dynamic
and
framework.
service-minded, and that comes down to every institution has to connect it to its purpose. So you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of the institution? What is my purpose to contribute into my work in this institution? Is it conflicting with the rule or something we have? Then my purpose should override that, because the purpose comes first. So that's something you can develop to connect to the deeper purpose of an institution or a company or an organization you're part of, a community. And then you have to raise the questions and talk about this in every day and see, is our purpose the same, or should we change our purpose or something like that? To have a deep conversation around that. So
it's continuous work.
Yeah.
So if you look at my Twitter handle, can't change any work, continue to change.
We're out of picture. Yeah.
So that, by the way, that's my Twitter handle, can't change. And if you think what that it means, is continue to change.
Continue to change. Yeah.
Continue to change.
Continue to change.
Yeah. Or whatever. So
something like that. Very funny. Yeah. What else? Christmas is coming up. What is Christmas about for a system entrepreneur?
Well,
there's so many traditions.
Tradition.
Yeah.
Tradition is important. It takes a long time to build traditions.
Yeah. At least 2 years. In some cases. That's a funny quote that went around viral a couple of years ago, that it takes at least 2 years to build a tradition, and then everyone says, no, we can't break this tradition that we had for 2 years. Tradition, in a sense, in community and family and togetherness.
Belonging is the highest value of community.
So if you want to deep, I will.
If you go, it's another book recommended that we both read with Peter Block.
Peter Block,
Belonging. So, or what? Belonging, I think. No. Or what
community of belonging or something.
The name of the book.
The name I don't remember. I'll check that and post a link in this. Anyway. Peter Block.
His latest book.
Yeah.
We find out and share it.
Yeah. So the Christmas is about belonging and building this community, bonding.
Yeah, the bonding, very much bonding.
Yeah. But also, can we make Christmas of something
New
more?
New Year is about bridging into the new.
Bridging into the new year.
So we have two things in it. 10 days.
In the holidays now, coming up. Yeah.
So one is belonging, and of course all of it together is belonging. But often the new year is a bit, what should I do? I want to change whatever I can. Yeah. So it is a good time to look back of the year. What can I learn? Yeah. Maybe you can do it twice a year, but at least once a year you look back. What can I improve? And where do I want to go?
Yeah. So let's find, if you feel like it, I'm open to all kinds of Christmas celebration just around Christmas, and so contact me in Bert-Ola if you're here in Sweden, or we can do an online video talk around Christmas if you're feeling we want to talk more about this around Christmas, about belonging and to New Year's Eve. I don't know where I'm going to celebrate New Year's Eve and Christmas yet. So.
Let's see.
Let's see. Yeah, so let's make something cool happen. It's a new decade. It's going to be like a fantastic opportunity to channel the energy of going into a new decade.
Yeah, the race to 2030 has
The
started.
race to 2030 has started. Yeah.
So that's when
5 years has gone since we committed to the SDGs, and now we have 10 years left.
So it will be a race and a big celebration.
Big celebration.
2030.
2030. Yeah.
So that's a good start. 10 years.
The decades that must count for humanity.
Yeah. Exactly.
And for God jul, alla robot and everything. Yeah. We're great of us being with us for so long, and we're gonna do what we can tomorrow to give you another second live Christmas calendar. We don't know exactly
from a Christmas space from
Liseberg, a Christmas space. So maybe it's gonna be more about Christmas and celebration tomorrow. We will see what it's about. Yeah,
a Swedish typical Christmas.
Yeah. But our Christmas is an merge of lots of Western cultures. Christmas, everything is merging together in a global sense as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
see you
soon and
tomorrow.
Bye bye.